Dave Palumbo with RxMuscle.com. I'm standing here with Chris, the technician, Aceto, and the 2015 IFBB Europa Atlantic City Pro has just let out. Chris, the finals are over, and Branch Warren has emerged victorious here, qualifying for the Olympia automatically. He said he did not want to go on points. As a matter of fact, he said he didn't even know what the points were or where he stood in the standings. He would only go to the Olympia had he won here tonight. He did. 1 point decision. What'd you think?
I thought he brought the most grainy, hard, dense look that he's had probably in probably 2 years or so. I mean, as far as I can remember,
Since probably took second at the Olympia behind Jay Cutler, and that was probably several years ago.
I would say since then, it's clearly a denser looking physique than when he did Ohio. It's a denser looking physique when he was in Australia.
He's back to the old Branch Warren, which is very hard to do because most people cannot get back. Like we say, we want to see Kai Green 2009. Well, Branch is the second place Mr. Olympia Branch Warren with a couple of injuries, maybe like a torn ladder or so. But I mean, granted, he is the best he's been. But was that enough to beat Cedric McMillan tonight?
He won. He beat Branch, beat Cedric, and I'm sure there's a lot of Branch fans. But I don't think he did enough.
Brad Rowe's a big Branch fan, isn't he?
Yeah, Brad Rowe texts me, and he knows I work with Cedric, and he knows all the guys I work with, and he sent me the most excited little kid text message that said, "I can't believe it, I'm going to the Olympia. Thank God Branch won."
Oh, because Branch won, it knocked him out of the point standing, and Brad moved up, and he made the fifth spot.
Whatever the calculations you have to do, it's like delegates in the presidency, you can win the popular vote but not have enough delegates or what's it called?
Points.
Yeah, points. So Brad, by Cedric not winning, goes into the Olympia. So Brad gives his congratulations both to Cedric and Branch.
Let's talk about Cedric McMillan, okay? I thought this was the best balance I've seen from Cedric of mass, size, shape, and conditioning. I thought he was much better than he was at that Golden State where he won. I thought that this was a good blend for him. A lot of people saying he needs to be harder. Yeah, I'd like to see him harder, but I think if he's harder, he's going to be smaller, and it's not going to be a good look for him. When he did his posing routine tonight with all his Cedric poses to that very dramatic music, I mean, he brought the house down. He was out there for 5 minutes probably. I don't think no one stopped him, and it was one of the best posing routines, dramatically speaking, that I've ever seen.
I thought it was his best routine that he's ever done. I think it's, it just, they let him go and go, and he kept on going. They didn't interrupt it. And
no one got bored, though.
No, because, it was artistry, and it's just not running around from side to side and, doing this and waving to the crowd, and the crowd's seen that 100,000 times and they don't really care.
Begging for applause, as my friend Charlie Arms would say.
What's the worst thing you can do? He demanded applause based on the way he looked and the way he presented his body. I thought, just on that, I just thought when he came out, even on his routine at night, that he was going to be better. I thought he was better tonight. I thought Branch was better tonight. And I think when they put them next to each other, I thought there was a fairly clear distinction between the two. I thought that Branch has on the front double and the front lat spread has a powerlifter's body, meaning he's got small arms.
Yeah, well, he loses those poses for sure.
Well, I mean,
we went pose by pose. I think, I did it with Bob Ciccarello, and it came out a tie. And then I did it with you, and I think we had Cedric having 5 poses and Branch winning 3 poses. Let's say it was a tie on who wins which pose, because it was a 1-point decision in there. What do you think gave the judges the oomph to give it to Branch? Why? Conditioning? I mean, that's the only thing I can see.
Well, if you don't know, then that's the only thing you could go to. Because in other words, you're trying to justify it.
Bob Chick said it was conditioning. I thought structure might have been a little bit more important, only because Cedric had conditioning.
Well, of course he did. And if Cedric had won, we'd be saying it was about structure or size. I mean, he's a bigger man and opens up. He's far bigger in a lot of the poses than Branch. It's not to take away from Branch, even though I'm defending Cedric in terms of trying to justify how he would win. But of course, if someone will say it's the graininess, because they can't say it's hard to say he won on these poses. So that's his own personal attribute. Other people have other attributes, and I think that Cedric's attributes are his muscle size, his shape, and the quality of the separation and the detail and his conditioning.
Rich Kaspari never beat Lee Haney when he was more conditioned than him.
Well, you know what? Eduardo Correa has never won the 212, and his condition and graininess is at a different level, and he's usually bigger. So you know, I use that as an example to deflect the idea that graininess wins shows.
Who places higher at the Olympia, Cedric or Branch, if they both come in looking like this?
Probably. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say because you have to see the other guys. This is a story of contrast.
Don't you think Cedric matches up better with the
Yes.
the Rodens and the
and
Wolves?
Wolves, and because he's got the height of Wolf, and
high.
and you might have the odd man out, meaning, Branch's. Branch looks more like Branch than he looks like any of the guys we just mentioned. So he's, is he going? So he would, by definition, technically have to beat them. And if he beats one or two, he beats them all, or he.
The thing about this show is if you show anyone a picture of Branch Warren and of Cedric McMillan separately, and you say this guy won, everyone would be like, of course he did, because they both were really that good today. I mean, when you peak your body out and you're at your best, it really comes down to what the judges like and don't like. Do you really think that Branch Warren wouldn't have done the Olympia had he not won here tonight and had to go on points?
Well, he's a man of his word, so I'd have to take his word. He said, if I am not going on points, I don't think it was an idle threat. I think he laid down the gauntlet for himself.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I.
It's like all the guys.
No, neither do
it's
I.
like all the guys that
I
retire.
knew you wouldn't
I'm
believe it.
retiring, but
I knew
they
you
never
wouldn't believe
retire.
it, so I figured I thought I was lost on iron debate, and I'd take the opposite view.
I got you.
No, but if he got second, it was 1 point. So if he got second, it'd probably take about 45 minutes to figure out. I could have been this better, that better, and I'll go to the Olympia and. You know what? You can't pass up the Olympia even this late in your career because you're going to be, 43 and retired, or 45 and retired, unless you're Dexter, and say, you know what? I had a chance to do the Olympia again, and I looked damn good that year. So, do I think he would have gone? Of course, he would have gone.
You know what they're gonna blame it on now? Chris Aceto broke down on the Jersey Turnpike and made Cedric have to come pick him up, and he missed the competitors meeting, and it threw his mindset off.
No, his mindset's on. His mindset's on. I thought he presented himself extremely well through the prejudge, and
he was good. He didn't look nervous at all.
No, he did great. And I mean, I don't want to monopolize the whole wrap-up with those two, but overall, I think I think shows like these boil down to your personal preference, because there's a lot of opinions, and this is still a subjective sport. Yes, Branch has structural flaws, but he has tremendous density.
The legs are
just
crazy,
wacky. And he can throw a lot of that density into a lot of shots that you wouldn't expect it, meaning the side chest, he really can squeeze out a lot of density out of it. Side tricep, as well. I just thought, there were certain shots where he was overwhelmed, back double, back lat spread, front double, front lat spread. But, graininess is like, the in thing. So
powerful, most muscular for Branch Warren, definitely. Let's talk about third place, Drew Jemmett. I thought he was going to be I thought Petrovic would have been a little higher, and I finally figured out how to pronounce his name. But I like Drew tonight. I thought he came back a little fuller. He still needs to bring those legs up. His legs I thought were better a couple years ago. Is it aging, do you think, with him that his legs are down a little bit?
These guys are like, he's over 42, right?
Yeah.
So, how much mass can you build after 40?
That's what I'm wondering. Is he getting worse, or is he just kind of holding on?
He's probably getting a little bit worse, and at the same time, he comes in third to Cedric and Branch. Everyone's going to look a little on the thin side against those two. So that said, I thought he has been harder in the past and fuller, and I think he slid in there on his big V taper.
Great structure.
Great structure, good presentation, a lot of confidence on stage. Pretty hard, he was, pretty hard, and he could be harder, could be denser, could be fuller. Those are the nitpicks against him, but if you eliminate the nitpicks, that's how he gets in there on the structure.
Robert Petrovic, and the only reason I know how to pronounce his name finally is, who told me how? One of your guys. Who do you think told me how to pronounce it?
Would have to, I'm at a loss for words.
Jose Raymond. Jose Raymond spent a lot of time with him in Poland.
I can't remember Jose's name. I can't remember even.
Jose actually
I don't
phonetically,
think the guy in Boston.
he phonetically wrote it out for me. Petrokovic.
Well, he's good at those things because he's a bodybuilding fan and he doesn't want you to butcher
No,
anyone's
he doesn't
name.
want me
I'm
to.
serious.
Petrokovic, you know, pretty much, this is, I wrote in my play-by-play, this guy maximizes his genetic tool set.
Totally.
He takes whatever genetic tools he's got and he makes them the best they could be. And I think that was, you know, you could have argued third place here from tonight. I think no one would have complained. He's going to go to the Olympia, though, on points.
Yeah, no, he you know, he's good enough to be in the Olympia.
More points than Brad Rowe.
More points than Brad Rowe, and it's amazing thing to say when you see a physique. You know, he's got a lot of muscle, a lot of density. To say he deserves to be in the Olympia, and yet the Olympia is so stacked and deep. You know, he'll get smoked. I mean,
of course he will, yeah. But it's
meaning
nice to say that with a physique like that, it's great to say, hey, I'm going to the
absolutely.
Olympia.
That's what I mean.
Qualified.
He deserves it. He worked for it. He's a great bodybuilder. He's one of these guys who, yes, he does improve year after year, and that's why he is going to the Olympia. But just to point out how deep, how crazy the show is going to be in 3 weeks.
Oh yeah. Stefan Havlik finishes in that 5th spot here tonight. Another structurally gifted guy who just needs to add more muscle to his frame. When he does, look out, he's another Ronnie Raquel. I'm convinced that this guy has got a tremendous future. He really has very weak glutes, and I don't know if that has anything to do with not squatting, or I don't know what it does, but I think that if he can bring his legs up a little bit more, especially that glute hamstring tie-in, he'll be freaky on stage, and he might even win a few pro shows before it's all over.
Yeah, he's had a tremendous year. He's done like 5 shows. I think this 5th one wasted him in terms of, I think he had a fresh look, a denser look, and a lot of more like snap to his muscle 7 weeks ago before he started all these shows. I mean, there's only so much your body can take. That said, I think he's got a lot of potential. He reminds me, he's got enough balance, real true balance. I hate the word balance because a lot of people, he's got natural structure with the body parts all flow good, and he's developed all over, where if he adds 7 pounds, it's really going to show up on him, where someone else would have to gain 30 just to have that, to say, wow, you've really improved. So I think he's got a strong future.
Let's talk about men's physique. Andre Ferguson wins here, qualifying for the Olympia automatically. I thought he looked great. He's got a great physique. To tell you the truth, the battle on stage was between Andre Ferguson and Giovanni Paula, who finished in the 2nd position. I personally liked Ege Shakori from Canada, who finished in 3rd. He was 2nd at the Vancouver Pro a few weeks ago. A lot of people came up to me and said, that guy, number 34, was just amazing. This guy's got a great physique. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I do his diet or anything like that, but he just has it all. He's got the good looks, he's got the good haircut, as you know I like. His conditioning was good. I thought that he was, I thought he could have won this solidly. I think that he needs to get a little bit more exposure in the men's physique division. Guys don't really know who he is yet. Ferguson and Paul kind of have done many shows before, but what was your overall impression of the lineup?
I thought the lineup was deep. I thought it was conditioned. I thought it was muscular. It's getting more muscular. I mean, the winner was actually tanning next to Cedric and flexing his arm, and he says, "Not bad." And I said, "I think the
he'd love to do bodybuilding."
Yeah,
Andre.
I know. And he wanted to pose with Cedric. I said, "Dude, I think the tanning fumes have gone to your head." I did. So, but I thought the top 3, they could have been interchanged. I did go with the winner. I thought he had, but this is me, the bias. He had a more muscular, his shoulders and arms were bigger. And here I am getting suckered into like more mass. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just defer to, okay, when I can't decide between the top 3, who's bigger or who's more cut, which I don't know if that's the prevailing wisdom in what should men's physique be. Because ultimately it becomes, baby bodybuilding, which I have no problem with, and I like big and muscular, but it just seems that's the
I think all top
progression.
3 guys are going to go to the Olympia based on points and everything, so that's a good thing for all those guys. Congratulations. In the figure division, we had a real battle. Joan Smith comes out of nowhere, really. I mean, maybe a lot of the pre-hype show was Shanique Grant, 19 years old from New Jersey. The wasp-like waist,
yeah.
crazy back from the V-taper from behind. And she stood next to Joan Smith, and Joan Smith made her look like she had a big waist. This girl has the tiniest waist I've ever seen. I think it was a very good decision by the judges. Personally, I didn't know who Joan was prior to this. And
Which is shocking in itself, right?
She just had, I know the physiques you like. You would have loved to take her and turn her into a bodybuilder, probably.
It's amazing to see some of the V-tapers. I mean, it's just absolutely shocking to see the level of the ways to show the ratio in some of the competitors.
When a Shanique Grant can't win this show because
right.
there's someone better than her
Right.
genetically,
Yeah.
it's just mind-boggling in the same show.
And they're going to, it's growing so much. These are the type of physiques that are going to come out of the woodwork, and you're going to say like, "What's next? So where'd they come from?"
And then
it's almost like, and it's a throwback to when people say bodybuilding in the '90s, when people would come out of nowhere, and Lavrones, Cormiers, Sean Ray. Mike Christian, Lee Haney. I mean, these guys are winning the nationals once, going into the Olympia, placing top 3. People would come out of the woodwork. You know that. You competed and that's what's happening in this
division.
division.
Look at third place, Swan De La Rosa, John De La Rosa's wife,
Yeah.
who in any other lineup would have
Smoked
easily
the
won.
show. Absolutely.
She's got to settle for third.
Yeah. When she came out, I thought, okay, she's got everything you need to absolutely win a show like this, and yet the two girls that placed ahead of her just had a more crazy V-taper, because her V-tapers, to me, is perfect. It's like nice shoulders, nice arms, flow to her body. She's in great shape, really strong V-taper, and then you just put her up against like, wow, that's just a wacky V-taper.
How about the comeback of the show, comeback of the year, maybe of the millennium? Mikaila Soto wins the women's physique division. Is going to the Olympia. This girl was on her deathbed last year.
That's like 3 years. She's twice in the last 5 years.
She must have spent the last year on her back in a hospital bed. And this girl, I was just wanting her to be healthy. She comes back here and she wins decisively tonight.
She's motivating. She's truly, there's people who work hard, and everyone does at this level, but there's people who work hard when they come back from unbelievable adversity. And when I someone had told me recently, she's back in the hospital, it was like, okay, well, she can't come back this time. You know what I mean? I mean, You can only, how you get 9, what's it, Cat has 9 lives.
Incredible, though.
And here she is coming back again, but this time her comeback, unlike the previous comeback when she had like a near-death experience, she's even better. She's leaner, tighter, fuller, more muscular. I think it was a great decision. She has just a great athletic look to her body where she can carry the muscle, and it just has a flow that allows her to win shows like this.
Finishing second, a very close second, I have to admit, Billy Cavalier, who has been lighting the pro scene on fire lately. She's gotten a couple top placings. She'll probably go to the Olympia on points. I mean, you could have made a case for her winning. I mean, terrific physique. She kind of reminds me of my friend Justin's girlfriend, Maria Penteada, who is from Brazil. Just like great shape, lots of muscle, good conditioning. A lot of women's physique girls coming out of the woodwork too. You talk about figure, but I think the women's physique, we're seeing the greatest new talent coming from that.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that's we're going to be at this show if we get passes in the next 5 years, and what will happen is there's going to be, there's either going to probably be 90 competitors, or they're going to institute some type of cutoff where they say it's just too much. You know what I mean? Meaning, seriously, we're going to limit to 50 in a show or 60 in a show, because, I mean, people are coming out of the woodwork, and then even the ones who are, even the competitors who are placing way, quote, out of the money are still really good.
Roxanne Edwards finishes in the 3rd position. Congratulations to her, coming from bodybuilding, a good friend of mine. And, I love to see the New York people placing high in the New York tri-state area. Danny Garcia places 4th. That's The Rock's ex-wife. And I don't know if you saw the Dwayne Johnson. The Rock was in the audience. I don't know, was George here? Your buddy? Farrakhan?
No, he was here because when I got pulled over in Jersey, I tried to put in a call to see if I could get my tow truck onto the Jersey Turnpike. When you get pulled over in New Jersey, when your car breaks down in New Jersey, you can't, on the New Jersey Turnpike, you can't call AAA, which I have AAA Gold. You can't call the Mercedes company, and Sean's jealous that I have. That's not my only Mercedes, Sean, by the way. That you can't call them and have them tow you for free to the nearest dealership. You have to call the state police and have them.
Oh, so Farrah made a phone call for you?
No, he didn't, because they hadn't heard of him. They thought he was like deep undercover, possibly. So I had to call the state police, 911, have them come. They called their own personal contracted
now I got to drive you 6 hours to get your car.
Yeah, we might as well go back to Maine.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do the radio show at least. Well, congratulations. Congratulations to Danny on her top 5 placing. And the show was a great show. I want to just thank everyone who was involved with putting this on. Europa Sports. I think this Atlantic City venue is a great venue. I know a lot of people complain about Atlantic City, but I actually happen to like it. Yeah, the town's a little weird, but the casino situation, the way it's set up, it's kind of available for everyone to kind of access relatively easy. It is kind of the second Las Vegas in that sense. And I think it's important to have this pro show here. I know they have a 3-year contract. I hope they extend that beyond this, because I do like coming to Atlantic City, and it's something you can drive to, and we kind of have a lot of fun here.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like the second Vegas, and it's easy to navigate, to get in and out of different places. And the show was, at least looking around, if you just walk through and you see the traffic tonight, it seemed like it was a great success. So they may have to extend it past 3 years.
Well, we got to get in the car and start driving home. So for now, we're out of time. Congratulations to all our champions here tonight. I'm Dave Palumbo with Chris, the technician, Aceto, for rxmuscle.com.